Welcome back to our class Leadership Theories. Different authors hold different views on the qualities that are considered essential for effective leadership. Some emphasis on the personal attributes and traits of the leadership, while the other emphasis on the actual behavior and action of the leader. There are still others who emphasize the situation in which the leadership is to be exercised. Here we have different theories, we can say approaches to discuss the leadership. One is traits approach. The traits approach represents the earliest notion of leadership and was popular between 1930 and 1950. According to this theory, there are certain personal qualities and traits which are essential to be a successful leader. The theory advocates, okay, the opinion that the persons who are the leaders are psychologically better adjusted to display better judgment and to engage themselves in social activities. They seek more information, give more information, and take lead in interpreting or summing up situation. Most of the traits theories believe that leadership traits are inherited, are inborn, and these cannot be acquired by learning. Okay, most of the trait theories believe that. That's why we will see as a caption on movies that leaders are born, not made. This is because of the traits theory believes that leaderships, okay, traits are inherited. Okay, they were inherited from parents to their children and from their ancestors, but they are inborn traits. They are not acquired by learning is the belief of the most of the trait theories. Many researchers have given their views on the type of qualities that are considered essential for effective leadership. Henry Fayol divided these qualities into physical, mental, moral, educational, technical, and experience. Charles Bridd examines 20 lists of traits attributes to leaders in many surveys and found that one of the traits disappeared on all lists. Leaders were classified by a wide variety of traits ranging all the way from neatness to nobility. A review of various research studies has been presented by Rolf M. Stockdale. When we see leadership theories are trait theories, behavioral theories, contingents, okay, the a flowchart where see trait theory, behavioral theory, and contingent theory, emerging leadership theory. Where behavioral theory, Michigan Studies, Ohio State University Leadership Studies. Contingent theory, Field's contingency model, Harsey Blanchard model, House-Path goal theory, Vroom Wetting and Zagos model. And emerging leadership theory, leader member exchange theory, charismatic leadership theory, transformational leadership, transaction leadership, leading change leadership, visionary leadership, Joseph C.R. Rost leadership. According to him, various trait theories have suggested these traits in a successful leader. Physical and constitutional factors. Okay. According to Rolf M. Stockdale, various trait theories have suggested that traits right, they are physical and constitutional factors, intelligence, self-confidence, sociability, willpower, and willpower, initiative, persistency, ambition, dominance, surgeons, that is talkative, cheerfulness, enthusiasm, alertness, originality, expressiveness. In the latter study, Glasili had found the very different qualities related with leadership success. They are supervisory ability, achievement in actuation, self actualization, intelligence, self assurance, decisiveness. The study of the lines of successful leader reveals important traits possessed by many of them. We'll see what are those. Leadership traits, we call them as: one is intelligence, second is physiological factors, third is emotional stability, fourth is intense inner motivational drive, fifth is human relations attitude, sixth is vision and foresight, seventh is empathy, eighth is fairness and product objectivity, ninth technical skills, 10th open mind and adaptability, 11th art of communication, 12th skill social skills. First we will discuss one by one. Intelligence. First we will discuss intelligence. This trait is considered to be the most important trait. Leaders generally have higher level of intelligence than the average of other their followers. Intelligence is the natural quality of a person to a great extent because it is directly related to the brain. As the human beings are born with their brains, it is generally laid that leaders are born and not made. Intelligence means ability to think scientifically, analyze accurately, and interpret clearly and precisely the problems before them. Though it is a natural quality, psychologists claim that intelligence can be improved with the help of proper training programs. Physiological factors now we'll consider for the same. Physical features of a person determine his personality, which in turn is an important factor in determining the success of leadership. Height, weight, physique, health, and appearance of individuals have a very strong impact on the personality and success of the leadership. Now we'll see the emotional stability. To be successful, a leader must have high level of emotional stability. He must be consistent in his actions, should not be biased, and should know how to control anger. He must be well adjusted and self-confident personality who believe that he can handle most of the situations successfully. Intense inner motivational drive is another leadership trait. It says that successful leaders generally have very intense inner motivational drives. They have the inner urge to keep on accomplishing something all the time. Not only should he be self-motivated, but he must have the requisite quality to motivate the others also. He should also an active role. He should also play an active role in stimulating the inner drives of his followers also. Human relations attitude. The success of a leader depends on the cooperation of the people. That is why a successful leader must possess the human relations attitude. He should always try to develop social understanding with other people. He should have intimate knowledge about the people and the interpersonal relationships. It is very important for a leader to possess knowledge of how human beings react to different situations. Vision and foresight is another trait, according to which a successful leader should have the capability to look into the future and visualize trends and diverse his policies and programs with foresight based logically programs. Another trait is empathy. Empathy is the ability of a person to observe the things or situations from the point of view of others. Empathy is an important aspect of successful leadership. An effective leader should know what makes the other fellow thinks as he does, even though he does not necessarily agree with him. On the basis of empathy, He can predict and understand the behavior of people, but for that he must have understood of the rights, beliefs, values, and feelings of other people. And another trait is fairness and objectivity. A good leader must show fairness and objectivity in his dealings with his subordinates. He should not be biased, and he should not allow himself to become emotionally involved to that extent that it becomes difficult to make an objective diagnosis and implement the required actions. Another trait is technical skills. Planning, organizing, delegation, analysis, seeking advice, making decisions, controlling and winning cooperation constitute technical competency of leaders. A leader can win support from his subordinate with his technical skills. Another trait is open mind and adaptability. Flexibility or open mindedness is a quality which makes a leader more identified with the group. He should not be critical of others. He must accommodate the viewpoints of others and should be willing to modify his decisions on the basis of that. And another is art of communication. To be successful, a leader must know how to communicate effectively. Good communication skills can be used for persuasive, informative, and stimulating purposes. A successful leader is generally an extrovert and self-confident person. And social skills is another trait. Social skills plays a very important part in the successful leadership. A leader should know the plus and minus points of his subordinates. He should have the ability to work within his people in such a way that he wins their confidence and loyalty. A successful leader is one with whom people cooperate willingly and not under any pressure. What we have seen so far as the traits of leadership, list of qualities is only suggestive and not exhaustive. A person may not be having most of the above mentioned qualities and still may be an effective leader. Leadership is such a complex subject and that it cannot be definitely identified by a listing of its important attributes. Now we will see the criticism of traits approach. Though very simple, it is, but still this theory fails to produce clear-cut results. Jennings has included 50 years of study has failed to produce a one personality trait or set of qualities that can be used to discriminate leaders and non-leaders. In brief, this theory has been criticized on different grounds. We will see now. Various studies prove that the trait theory cannot hold good for all sets of circumstances. The list of traits is not uniform and different authors have given different lists of traits. It fails to take into account influence of other factors on leadership. The theory fails to indicate the comparative importance of different traits. There have been many persons who have been understanding leaders in business, although they have been humorless, narrow-minded, unjust, and authoritarian. In the same manner, there have been many persons who are not good leaders, although they had the specified traits which we have discussed earlier. No evidence has been given about the degrees of various traits because people have the various traits within different degrees. There are no definite tests for measurement of these traits and hence no conclusion can be drawn from these. This theory, however, provides that leaders should have certain personal characteristics. Some of these qualities are inborn, others can be developed by management through proper training programs. And now we will discuss another approach, that is leadership approach, that is behavioral approach. The shortcomings of the trait theory led to a significant change in the emphasis of leadership approach. This shift in emphasis began to focus attention on the actual behavior and actions of leaders as against personal qualities or traits of leaders. According to this approach, leadership involves an interpersonal relationship between a leader and subordinate, in which the behavior of the leader towards the subordinate constitute the most critical element. The good behavior of the leader raises the morale, builds up confidence and spirit among the team members, and lack of good behavior will discard him as a leader. The behavioral approach differs from the traits approach in that the traits approach emphasizes some particular trait to be possessed by leader, whereas this theory emphasized on particular behavior by him. The purpose of trait theory was to separate leaders from non-leaders on the basis of traits, whereas the purpose of behavioral theory is to determine how various kinds of specific behavior affect the performance and satisfaction of subordinates. We will see the criticism of this behavioral approach. This approach does not take into consideration the situational variables. A particular leadership style may be effective in one situation, but it may not be so effective or ineffective in other situations. In fact, the situation determines the effectiveness of a particular leadership style. This approach does not consider the time factor. A particular behavior or action of this leader may be effective at the point of time, while the same may be ineffective at some other point of time. Several theories were developed during 1950s and 60s that approached leader from the standpoint of actual behavior of leaders. Two important behavioral theories are one is Michigan studies and the other is Ohio State University leadership. Situational contingency theory of leadership is another. We'll see. Situational contingency theory of leadership now. Neither the trait nor the behavior approaches offered satisfactory explanations of leader organizations, causing the researchers to look for alternative theories. The advocates of situation theories believe that leadership is greatly affected by the situation, and to maintain that leadership pattern is the product of a situation at a particular time. The situational theories emphasizes not personal qualities or the traits of the leader, but upon the situation in which he operates. A good leader is one who molds himself according to the needs of given situation. There are three theories which view the leadership is dependent upon the situation. Okay, they are also known as contingent theories of leadership. We'll see those emerging leadership theories now. One is leader member exchange theory. Leader member exchange theory is first theory, then charismatic leadership theory. Another is transformational leadership theory. Another is transactional leadership. And the fifth is leadership change theory. Sixth is visionary. We will discuss in detail each and every theory. Leader member exchange theory is the first LMX, we call it as LMX theory. Formerly, the leader member exchange theory was called the vertical dyad linkage theory. According to this theory, the leaders do not treat all their subordinates in an equitable manner. Almost all the leaders have some in groups and some out groups. People in the in group are those with whom leaders establish close interpersonal relationships over a period of time. On the other hand, leaders keep distance from the people in the out group. Out group people do not have any personal relationship with the leader, whereas the group in group people enjoy a relationship of trust, loyalty, and a sense of common fate with the leaders. This is what we call it as leader member exchange theory. However, it is quite unclear as to how the leader chooses which set of people to place in the in group and which set of people to place in the out group. But there is evidence to prove that the leaders tend to choose in-group members because they have common attitudes and personality characteristics similar to that of their own in comparison to those of out-group members. Second is charismatic leadership theory. A major shift in leadership research in the mind of 1970 led to the development of many charismatic leadership theories. Charisma is the leadership trait that can influence the employees to take early and sustained action. It is a form of interpersonal attraction of a leader that inspires support and acceptance from others. Charismatic leadership is accordingly a type of influence based on the leader's personal charisma. Robert Howe's theory of charismatic leadership develops a set of testable propositions concerned with identifying the traits of charismatic leaders. The behavior used by these leaders and their conditions under such leaders may emerge. House contended that the identification of leader traits, leader behavior, and situation characteristics that may result in the emergence of charismatic leaders is important because these type of leaders have extraordinary effect on followers. According to Kanger and Kanungo, charismatic leadership is essentially an attribution of the followers. Followers are more likely to attribute charisma to leaders who make self-sacrifice and take personal risks than those who do not take risks. After a study of 90 of the most effective leaders in the US, Warren Bennis found that charismatic leaders were visionary in nature. They had a compelling vision and sense of purpose. They could communicate that vision in clear terms that their follower could readily identify with. They demonstrated consistency and focus in the pursuit of their vision, and they knew their own strengths and capitalized on them. Many other charismatic theories appeared through 1993. These theories sought answer to a few questions, okay, that are same. They are: how do charismatic leaders lead their followers to understand the performance is the first question. Why did such leaders receive high level of follower trust and loyalty is another. What is specific behavior distinguishes charismatic leaders from other type of leaders is another. Research shows a positive correlation between charismatic leadership and high performance and satisfaction among followers. People working for charismatic leaders are motivated to work extra because they like their leader and enjoy greater satisfaction. Other researchers suggest that such leaders emerge during the period of crisis. Charismatic leaders are impatient with present conditions and press their organizations to continuously improve. They push their organizations towards a new state by creating dissatisfaction with the present. They continuously engage themselves in scanning the environment for new market opportunities, predicting changes in markets and technologies, and looking for ways to keep their organizations aligned with the outside environment. Since this is a new opportunity to the concept of leadership, it is difficult to evaluate this theory due to lack of sufficient empirical evidence. Another is transformational leadership. Okay, transformational leadership is all about leading change. Transformational leaders are more popularly referred to as agents to change who energize and direct employees to new set of behaviors. They change the followers' perspective regarding the issue by helping them to look at old problems in a new way. According to Bernard M. Bass, the transformational leadership emphasizes four behavioral components. One is charisma, and the other is individualized consideration. Third is inspiration. Fourth is intellectual stimulation. Charisma is the most important part of transformational leadership because of the power it gives a leader. Individualized consideration means the transformational leader recognizes variations in skills, abilities, and desires for growth opportunity among subordinates. A key part of individualized consideration is the degree to which the leader shows genuine interest in subordinates. Intellectual stimulation refers to the transformational leadership ability to build high awareness of problem and solutions. They stimulate their subordinates to imagine new and different future stages for the group. Inspiration refers to the transformational leader's ability to inspire and excite the followers to put in an extra effort for achieving the desired objectives. Now we'll discuss transactional leadership. Transactional leadership is one in which the leaders guide and motivates their followers in the direction of established goals and objectives. By clarifying the roles and task requirement, traditional leadership is more popularly referred as managing. The main purpose of leadership is to ensure that the followers carry on their work smoothly and to provide guidance as and when they require. Right. And another is leading change leadership. John P. Cotter identified leading change leadership according to this approach. Leader means developing a vision on the future and strategies to create it. That is direction. Communicate direction in words and deeds to everyone whose cooperation is needed to create a vision. Align, that is what we call it as alignment of people. Motivating and inspiring people to overcome major political, bureaucratic, and resource barriers to change by satisfying basic but often unfulfilled human needs. According to Cotter, there are 7 stages in the process of creating major changes. What are they? We will see now. Establishing the sense of urgency, creating the guidance coalition, developing vision and strategy, communicating the change vision, empowering broad-based action, consolidating gains and pouching more changes, and anchoring new approaches in the culture. The last one is visionary leadership. Visionary leadership is the ability of the leader to create an attractive vision in the future for the organization which could outperform the present. For this purpose, the vision has to be clear and compelling so that it can offer new and innovative ways of improvement. People in the organization must also believe that vision is attainable. It should be perceived as challenging yet attainable. For visionary leadership to be successful, the leader should possess the few qualities. He should have the ability to express the vision to others. Vision should not only be conveyed verbally, but by the leader's own actions and behavior. They require the leader to behave in a way that continually convey the reinforce the vision. Lastly, the leader should be able to extend the vision to a variety of activities simultaneously, such as finance, HR, marketing, so on. And now we'll discuss leader Now we'll discuss leadership continuum. In 1957, Robert Tannenbaum and Warren Schmidt published a model of leadership explaining the different ways that leaders interact with their own followers. The model is a continuum that showed that at the end of one spectrum, a leader can have nearly total freedom to decide, while at the other end of the spectrum, the team can have nearly total freedom to decide. In between these two extremes, Tannenbaum and Schmidt identified 7 types of leadership styles. Knowing these style options and being able to apply them to work situations correctly, it is the secret of effective leadership. The Tannenbaum and Schmidt continuum is a simple model of leadership theory which shows the authority relationship between the level of freedom and that a manager chooses to give to a team and level of authority used by the manager as the team freedom is increased, so the manager's authority decreases. This is a positive way for both teams and manager to develop the model by taking consideration of all which are working on it. We can understand the manager tells one is there are 7 developed leaders stating what felt at the end of spectrum is. The manager tells one is this is the autocratic style of leadership. The manager reviews options in the light of aims, issues, priorities, time scale, etc. Then decides the action and informs the team of decision. The manager will probably have considered how the team will react, but the team plays no active part in making the decision. This is seen by the team uh, will okay team as a purely task-based decision, which is greatly a characteristic of exterior management style. While not very popular in today's world, it is often needed when teams are new, inexperienced, or weak. As the team gains in cohesion and commitment, it becomes less and less appropriate. Another is the manager sells. In the selling approach, it is still the leader in the driving seat, but there is the need to get others to understand why they are doing a task and what he or she wants. The manager makes the decision as the first point and then explains reasons for the decision to them, to the team, particularly the positive benefits that the team will enjoy from the decision. When the manager does so, the team feels that its importance is recognized and the manager has concern for the team members. Third is the management tests. The manager presents the decision along with with some of the background which led to the decision. The leader explains the problem, comes up with an idea but checks it out with the team. If they are not ready for more responsibility, they'll go along with what the boss wants. If they are ready, and then he or she leaves the door open, okay, for them to discuss their thoughts. The team is invited to ask questions and discuss with the manager the rationale behind the decision, which enables the team to understand and accept or agree with the decision more easily. This is a more motivational approach as compared to the bus level because of the higher level of team involvement in discussion. The manager consults, and there is the manager discusses and reviews the provisional decision with the team. On the basis of that, the manager will take and broad the views and then finally decide. This enables the team to have some real influences over the shape of the manager final decision. This also acknowledges that the team has something to contribute to the decision making process, which is more involving and therefore motivating than the previous level. The manager presents the situation and maybe some options to the team. The team is encouraged and expected to offer ideas and additional options and discuss implications of each possible course of action. The manager then decides which option to take. This level is one of high and specific involvement for the team and is appropriate particularly when the team has more detailed knowledge or experience of the issue than the manager. Being high involvement and high influence for the team, this leadership style provides more motivation and freedom than the degrees which we have discussed earlier, the levels which we have discussed. The manager delegates at this level. Sixth one is the manager delegates. The manager effectively delegates the responsibility for the decision to the team members through within the manager's stated limits. The manager may or may not choose to be a part of the team which decides. While this level appears to have gave a huge responsibility to the team members, the manager can put some constraints and stipulations to control the risk and outcomes. This level is more motivational than any previous level, but require the team members to be mature enough to face any situation, serious situation or problem. The manager abdicates is the another, okay, what we call it as the seventh one. This is previously an extreme level of freedom whereby the team is given responsibility for identifying and analyzing the situation or problem, the process for resolving it, developing, assessing option, evaluating implications, and then decide on and implementing a course of action. This manager, the manager also states in evidence in advance that he will support the decision and help the team implement it. The manager may or may not be a part of the team, and if so, then he has no more authority than anyone else in the team. The team members will work within the constraints and parameters applicable to the manager. The manager retains accountability for any resulting failure, while the team must get the credit for all success. This level is potentially the most motivational of all, but also potentially the most disastrous. Not surprisingly, the team must be mature and of competent and capable of acting at what is genuinely strategic decision making level. Right? How to use this Tanebum and Schmidt continuum? When we observe this level, 7 levels of control and freedom correspond broadly to a team level of development. When team is immature, unmotivated, unskilled, and styles will be on the left hand side of the spectrum. When the team is motivated and skilled, styles will be on the right hand. Right? That is Tannenbaum and Schmidt thought that there are two other factors to be taken into account when selecting a style. One was the demands of situation. For example, is the problem urgent or high risk? Does the organization culture allow the delegate styles? The other issues was whether the leader had skill and willingness to manage a full range of style across the spectrum. Right, with this I'll conclude the session.